and welcome to this edition of News Leader. Today is Tuesday, January the 30th, 2024. I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, the Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Aldermen are named in yet another lawsuit. Tullahoma scores big in wrestling tournament, and we have a glimpse at Tullahoma's candidates for City School Board. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader.
Hi, my name is Ringo. Here at Barkview Senior Living, they're human-friendly. That's why I love it here, and so does my senior human. When they want a bite, they get chef-prepared meals, and so do I. Movies in the theater, day trips, walks on the trail, and other senior humans to play with. The grass and the grounds are exquisite. It's everything my human needs to be healthy and active. Barkview. Parkview Senior Living. For your dog's best friend, you.
Get ready to make a splash for a cause. The Duck River Watershed Society invites you to its third annual Spring Cleanup event on Saturday, March 2nd from noon until 3 at the Fire Lake Public Use and Boat Ramp area in Manchester, Tennessee. Be part of the movement for sustainability, health, and education for the Duck River, America's most diverse waterway, home to over 650 aquatic species and water supply for more than 300,000 people. Mark your calendars and register to meet us at River Forge Road on March 2nd. Let's clean up, team up, and make a splash together.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. Last night, the Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Aldermen held a special call meeting with a resolution to support amendment of the city charter to provide term limits for the Tullahoma offices of mayor and aldermen. The board debated the issue, but eventually settled on amending the motion to send it to voters as a referendum. After approving the amendment to send it to the voters in a referendum, if it failed on a vote of 4 against it and 3 in approval. Voting for it was Glick, Almacher, and Wilson. Voting against it were Berry, Mathis, Mann, and Mayor Noes. In other tumultuous City of Tullahoma news, after being officially terminated from her position as Director of Human Resources, Costa Bryce, the former HR Director, is taking legal action against the city, alleging racial discrimination, extreme retaliation, and seeking damages, both economic and non-economic. In a comprehensive 26-page lawsuit detailing events beginning in 2020, Bryce's attorney, Justin Gilbert, asserts that Bryce faced retaliation from Alderman Kurt Glick during his tenure as director of the Tullahoma Parks and Recreation Department. This retaliation culminated in Bryce being placed on administrative leave in February of 2023 after serving as the Human Resource Director for 26 years, following an investigation by the law firm Wimberly, Lawson, Wright, Daves, and Jones. The lawsuit contends that the conflict between Bryce and Glick began in 2020 when she opposed Glick's attempt to secure a full-time position for his drinking buddy, whom Glick argued was being excluded due to being an older white male. Bryce maintains that the exclusion was based on the individual's clear lack of qualifications. The suit further alleges that Glick's retaliatory actions and alleged cronyism posed a financial risk to the city of Tullahoma, as Glick reportedly did not employ any individuals of color, causing concern within the city administration. Bryce emphasizes her multiracial background with a mother from the Dominican Republic and a father from the Isle of St. Marin. The lawsuit details an external investigation into the allegations of cronyism and retaliation at the Parks and Recreation Department, which reportedly enraged Glick. Bryce notes that Glick later filed an age discrimination lawsuit against the city, which is still awaiting a hearing in federal court. Bryce contends that Glick, upon his election to the Aldermanic Board, sought revenge against her, leading to her suspension without investigation and subsequent termination by the board. Following administrative leave, Bryce received a letter from City Administrator Jason Quick on September 29, 2023, stating the elimination of the Human Resources Director position, effectively ending her employment. The lawsuit claims that after months of suspension without investigation and no findings of criminal wrongdoing, the city retaliated by creating a pretextual job elimination that cost Bryce her livelihood. In seeking relief from the city, the lawsuit demands proper process, a declaration of federal or state law violations, injunctive or equitable relief to prevent post-termination retaliation, and monetary damages of up to $5 million for lost income, including wages, health insurance, pension, or retirement benefits, and damage to her reputation. Bryce, in her statement, expresses gratitude for her 26 years of service to the city of Tullahoma, but laments being falsely accused, placed on leave without investigation, and terminated under the guise of a baseless job elimination. She vows to reveal the detailed story of the board's retaliation with evidence in court. And after these messages, we'll be right back.
We tend to lose our motivation when we have something that's chronic, but you've got to do what you can early on as you can. After I'd exercise like that, I would have a lot of energy to do housework or whatever I needed. Well, I would recommend it highly to anyone at any degree of Parkinson.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Hi, I'm Fran Gray with Alzheimer's Tennessee. When you receive a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease for yourself or someone you love, please know that you do not have to go through this journey alone. Alzheimer's Tennessee is here for you to provide support and education, all the help you may need to get through this challenge. Our number is 931-434-2348. We encourage you to give us a call. We're here to help.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
Welcome back. While the Tullahoma High School boys wrestling team captured the district title last Tuesday, it was their head coach, Bob Callison, who was celebrated after he notched his 500th career dual match victory. Callison is in his first season as a coach of the Wildcats. Before coming to Tullahoma, the THS wrestling coach spent 31 years in Arizona, where his teams combined for 479 dual match wins. Callison said, quote, "Reaching 500 wins is special. It has taken me 30 years to accomplish this, and it's special to do it here in Tullahoma. I can't tell you how incredible everybody here in Tullahoma has been, from the booster club to the parents and the wrestlers. What they did for me tonight by recognizing me and this milestone is wonderful. The team and coaches have been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, so this moment is very special to me," end quote. With 3 wins on Tuesday night, the Wildcats not only gave their coach the milestone victory, but also clinched a district title. Tullahoma dominated all 3 matches, defeating Community 75-6 before beating Franklin County 81-0 and winning the championship with a 53-18 victory over Cascade. Callison credits his wrestlers, coaching staff, and the community of Tullahoma for aiding him in what's been a strong season so far. Callison added, quote, "I can't tell you how much I appreciate the work of all the coaches who preceded me, because they've done a great job building the wrestling community here in Tullahoma. It is nice to have that support system set in place, including the fans, the middle school wrestling team, and the youth wrestling program. That made it easy for me to come here to Tullahoma. I wasn't trying to change anything, and I'm so thankful for Coach Sean Atkins and Coach Jeff Lester, because I've learned a lot from them," end quote. This wrestling season has been full of accolades for Coach Callison. In November, he was inducted into the Arizona chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. While grateful for the recognition, Callison says he's focused on the here and now and thankful to be in Tullahoma and hopeful the Wildcats can earn their way into the TSSAA state tournament. From all of us here at News Leader, congratulations and good luck to the team. Even though Tullahoma seemed to have the snow and ice on streets longer than many neighboring communities, the Tennessee Department of Transportation did a fantastic job clearing and keeping clear the interstates and highways during our recent winter storm. This video from TDOT highlights some of the efforts.
Well, across the South, we are going to get a good bit of snow courtesy of our newest winter storm, Heather.
That's why crews with the Tennessee Department of Transportation are ready to go.
This is an all-hands-on-deck kind of situation.
We're just stressing to motorists to continue to stay off those roads.
Give our crews the room they need to work.
Tennessee's Department of Transportation pre-treated the roads ahead of this storm.
You got a lot of snow out here. We just saw a TDOT truck passing by.
This mighty crew is the eagle eye in the sky.
We are looking at traffic 24/7.
The State Department of Transportation has responded to hundreds of issues.
Looks like an 18-wheeler kind of turned over.
Yesterday, a car crashed into one of their trucks, and TDOT says these crashes are already a problem year-round, and the snow's only making it worse.
Keep these TDOT folks, other first responders, in your thoughts and your prayers as the days continue, as they are burning the midnight oil.
The amount of snow that fell in one day is the most since the blizzard of '93.
Some people saw around 3 inches, others as much as 9.
Our crews worked throughout the night because they were seeing some progress.
We're following you on Twitter. I see this afternoon you are keeping a close eye on that situation in Marion County.
All lanes are open on I-24 in both directions.
Another chance at winter weather and another blast of cold air.
I just happened to look over at a police escort of about 10 plow trucks, and it was really impressive.
Just calling to brag on you. Tell your folks they did good in Region 4.
We so appreciate all the work they've done.
Heavily impressed with TDOT.
Just thank you, thank you, thank you. It's important work, it's dangerous work, and we're so thankful for the jobs that they do.
We'll be right back after these messages.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. A throwaway bottle or pop-top can may not seem much to a traveling man, but a little bit of litter goes a long, long way. And I grow and get bigger every day. Tennessee trash messing up the highways. Tennessee trash junking up the byways. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
We have met the enemy, and he is us.
Welcome back. On Saturday night, we live streamed the political forum held at Tullahoma High School with the Republican candidates for Tullahoma School Board, County Property Assessor, County School Board Seat 3, and County Constable Seat 3. In this clip, City School Board candidates responded to the question, how are you going to keep woke ideologies out of the classrooms?
I'm not going to keep woke out of the classroom. It's not my business to do that. As a school board member, let's go back and talk about what school board members do. They service through an administration, they write policies, but in terms of me, myself, and I keeping woke out of that, do I believe in it? Doesn't matter. We write policies to do things like that. We work with our administration. We don't make those things, so I don't keep woke out of it. Somebody else might, but I don't.
Our schools are a reflection of our community, and we have a conservative community. I'd have a hard time defining woke.
I think something that people don't really understand is our teachers do not develop standards. Our standards come to us as a requirement from the state. Our curriculum is given to us from the state. So if there's question about some of the standards being woke, that would need to be the legislators. We do not make laws as board members. And it would not be my job on a day-to-day basis to determine whether or not a standard is being taught as woke. I'm kind of like Pat. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Thank you.
Well, I understand that we do have policies as the board would have the policies that they have to follow, but what I would want to do is to work with the administration to make sure that the curriculum meets the standards that it should. Again, I go back to our traditional American values. We all know that woke is coming into the curriculum. It is seeping in. It's seeping into the libraries, and it's seeping everywhere, including this small town. In regards to how I would do it, that would be a collaborative effort with the school board to work with the schools in an effort to make sure that that doesn't happen. Schools were put into place with the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic. Those are the basic foundations that our students need. I do know that they need more than that. There are other areas that they could get other information, but again, I go back to we need to focus on our students, their education, and their future. If we don't focus on their future and make them successful academically and keep politics out of it, then we're going to hurt our community in the long run. Thank you.
So, this is a touchy subject, but woke, anything woke is really, it takes away from the focus of our core education. Anything that's not baseline education is a distraction. So you can say it's woke, you can say it's politics, anything that's not there to help our kids is taken away from our kids. I think, and I'm going to repeat myself, we should talk with our teachers and our parents about the curriculum that's coming home and the curriculum that the kids are learning. And then we can work with our teachers about the curriculum to see what they approve and disapprove of and how it's affecting the kids. And we can work together as a community to try to push out what we don't want forced on our kids. And that takes a group effort. And I think the board, even though it might not be in our job description, we can work with the teachers and everybody to make our schools how we want our schools to be for our kids.
One of the principles that I teach my own children is that they need to tell the truth. And I think we need to be teaching truth to our students. I would focus the school system on educating our children and not indoctrinating them into a specific set of beliefs. And I would hope that if someone wants to teach their children something contradictory, they have the freedom to do that at home. Policies can help keep woke agendas out of our classrooms. And there was actually a situation a couple of years ago where there was some sexually explicit materials being used in a high school class, which is absolutely not acceptable. And it was part of the role of the board to be involved in changing that and making sure that the class was using different literature. So it absolutely does happen, and it absolutely needs to be addressed. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more news after these messages.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get ready to make a splash for a cause. The Duck River Watershed Society invites you to its 3rd annual spring cleanup event on Saturday, March 2nd from noon until 3 at the Fire Lake Public Use and Boat Ramp area in Manchester, Tennessee. Be part of the movement for sustainability, health, and education for the Duck River, America's most diverse waterway, home to over 650 aquatic species and water supply for more than 300,000 people. Mark your calendars and register to meet us at River Forge Road on March 2nd. Let's clean up, team up, and make a splash together.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
Welcome back. At the recent Lunch and Learn at D.W. Wilson, Beechcraft Museum representative Sharon Repke discussed how the museum started up.
In 1973. Those are a couple stagger wings. This was their program. They called it a hoedown, and I don't know if it's big enough for you to read it all, but they had a guest speaker that was invited to that event, and her name was Louise Thaden. And she came and she spoke to that group, and while she was addressing them, she challenged them and said, you know, somebody needs to preserve the heritage of the stagger wing. And there were a bunch of those guys, 16 to be exact, that decided that they wanted to open a museum. And they got together and incorporated. Their names are down here on the bottom. I'll just go ahead and read them off. Jeff Gorman, Al Henniger, Bill Halverson, Glenn McNabb, Marshall Seymour, Steve Worsham, Jim Gorman, Gene Hood, John Parrish, Robert T. Smith, Dub Yarborough, George Schultz, Bill Landers, Dick Perry, George York, and Bobby Graves. They incorporated, and in January of 1974, we opened our doors as the Stagger Wing Museum with 3 loaned airplanes. Sorry?
I was just going to say, I wanted to call out, Steve Worsham is the city attorney.
Yes, yes. Thank you, yes. There's a few of those guys are still around. John Sr. is, Steve Worsham is. Who else?
That's about it.
Jeff Gorman is. Jeff is still around. That's about it, though. We opened our doors as the Stagger Wing Museum with 3 loaned airplanes in the backyard, Louise's memorabilia, which she so graciously donated to us, and that little log cabin you see in the background. That was purchased between here and Lynchburg. It belonged to John Glutch. John Glutch's wife was born in that log cabin, and she grew up there. It was built by German immigrants in the 1800s. Senior saw it and thought it would be perfect for the founder's room and office, so he bought it. They numbered the pieces, brought them back to the property, and put it back together, and it was 2 rooms. It was a dog trot. Do you know what a dog trot is? It's 2 rooms with that passageway in between, and eventually that did get closed in. When they decided to open the museum, they went to Mrs. Beach. By that time, Mr. Beach had passed. She was working at Beechcraft, running the company rather well, and asked for her blessing. They didn't want any money. They just wanted her blessing. And John Sr. and Jim Gorman, I think, were the only 2 that went. She said no. She said, museums are started by men with big ideas and small pocketbooks, and I don't want something that's not going to honor the Beechcraft name to be tied to it. And they said, okay, well, we're fine. And they came back and they opened the museum. 2 years later, we built a hangar back behind that little log cabin and dedicated it to Walter Beach and invited her to the dedication. Well, she came and she got to know the board of directors and she got to know the other people that were involved in the museum, and she realized that this museum is not like any other place that you could want to be. And she decided to become involved. She's been very generous over the years. Her family is still involved. Her granddaughter was at Beach Party this last year. Her daughters come and their families. So we're very thankful that she realized that we're not like any other place. The board of directors put a couple policies in place when we started the museum. We couldn't spend all the money that was donated to us. The money had to be split. We got a very small portion of it, about 25%. The rest was put in a savings account with the idea that the museum would be self-funded. We don't take money. When we build something, we have to have 2 times the cost, one to pay for it, pay cash for it, the other to put into our savings account. And over the years, the museum has stuck with that policy and has served us well, because we can now draw a little percentage of that interest. We don't get very much of it because the board wants to keep the seed money in the account, but we do get a portion of the interest to use for operations. But that was smart, and Mrs. Beach, being the smart businesswoman that she was, realized that that was a great way to start and run a museum.
And don't forget to tune in to this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. On this week's show, we'll hear from some representatives of the Duck River Watershed Cleanup Group. The Tullahoma Library is trying something new with book placement, and the South Jackson Street Band will be performing a special Valentine's Day banquet. We'll have all this and more on this week's Living. And stay with us, we'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
One thing about Parkview, we could bring our animal out there with us.
It would have been a deal breaker if we had not been able to take Gracie.
Yeah, we would not have gone.
If you want to do something, there's something to do most of the day. You shouldn't get bored.
I really enjoy my life here at Parkview. I really choose what I want to do. We have a wonderful library with hundreds of books that I love. It is a wonderful place.
Get ready to make a splash for a cause. The Duck River Watershed Society invites you to its 3rd annual spring cleanup event on Saturday, March 2nd from noon until 3 at the Fire Lake Public Use and Boat Ramp area in Manchester, Tennessee. Be part of the movement for sustainability, health, and education for the Duck River, America's most diverse waterway, home to over 650 aquatic species and water supply for more than 300,000 people. Mark your calendars and register to meet us at River Forge Road on March 2nd. Let's clean up, team up, and make a splash together.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this date. Our record high was in 2002 at 73 degrees. Record low was in 1936 at negative 14 degrees. The average high for this day is 49, and the average low is 29. 30% chance of rain for tonight, with a low of 33. Clearing out for Wednesday with a high of 45 and a low of 27, and sunny skies expected for Thursday with a high of 55 and a low of 33. And that's our News Leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. for News Leader. Stay safe. Have a great evening.